thank you for all being here tonight. This is the part of the evening we call the speech bubble. But it's part speeches, it's also part variety show. So we should, keep you on your feet but keep you entertained as well. Being asked to give a speech is a lot like being asked to have sex with the Queen.
Awesome.
It's a great honour, but nobody wants to do it. So I'd like to say a huge thank you to all of you, to all of you who have stepped forward so graciously and generously this evening to participate in celebrating Nick's 50th birthday. And the first person I'd like to welcome and invite and introduce is Paul Pettit, darling friend and decorator extraordinaire.
Why are we all here? It's not to celebrate the inevitable passage of time, but something more. Everyone has birthdays, but not everyone is Nicholas James. This is not going to be a speech about Nick the father, Nick the husband, Nick the muso, or Nick the domestic dilettante. But this is a speech about Nick the friend. Best friends are people you don't have to speak to every single day. You don't have to speak to them for weeks. But when you do, it's like you never stop talking at all. And that's how it is with me and Nick. I remember the first time I met Nick. It was 25 years ago. And he was hot. Tall, lean, with long blonde hair. There he was, bent over, his head in the fridge. His first words to me were, "Hey man, you hungry?" You bet I was. That afternoon, over a smorgasbord of small goods and a lot of frozen daiquiris, I found a kindred spirit. Nick, you've reached the 50th milestone. 50 birthdays. 50. That's a whole lot of living. Enough living to establish the character of the man, as is evidenced by what you're wearing tonight. Your opinion is sought because your opinion is valued. You inspire the best in people because you take the time to listen and you fully understand their needs. I never have to think twice when I'm with you. Just being around you makes me feel free, positive and alive. Your judgment is spot on. Well, actually, it's not spot on. There was that one incident, which you probably don't want to remember, but that's not that funny then.
I want to know.
The incident I refer to is the Greaves Street stalker.
Oh.
We're just making sure she's not here too. I'm sure there's a few of you here tonight who will remember Maria. A blonde bombshell besotted by Nick, who would have given John Hinckley Jr. a run for his money in the Scary Stalker Stakes. But that's probably a story for later, which I might tell with the bubbles. Nick, you only have to look around here tonight to see all your friends, to know how much you're appreciated and loved. We're here for one reason and one reason only, and that is to celebrate the magnificence which is you. You're a touchstone to many people, and this world is a much better place for having you in it. So, initially, even though my lust has developed, it's developed into a deep respect and an unbreakable love. But I still get a semi-hard on for it. So, before I am forcibly shut up, I will shut up myself. To Nick, to friendship, and to birthdays. May you have many more.
Go in for the full heart.
That's okay. Well, I've just made a little video. But yeah, Nick has been absolutely one of the most important people in my life. Maybe the biggest mentor I've ever had and continue to have. And yeah, I've made a little video in celebration.
Thank you, Josh.
Your soapbox close.
I've got to get my soapbox in the right spot. There we go. I feel so short here tonight, you wouldn't believe. Hey Lena, can you come up here? We need to sit together, girls. We need to be able to sit together. Let's just work. Oh, Josh. Oh, gosh. Here goes. It's rhyming verse, I know. There's nothing worse. With glass in hand and hand on heart, I'm going to take you back to the start. But I have to put my hand at my glass. It's a good thing I haven't had anything to drink. Picture this, if you can. Before me stands a virulent young man. There's something very similar between Paul and I and how we're starting our speeches. Wasn't intended, but I got the man. He wears tight, very tight, hot pink, lycra shorts. Nothing more. Knock, knock, knock. Nick's answered, Grieve Street door. I stood there feeling kind of silly. Hello, I'm a friend of Millie's. Nick says with his gorgeous grin, pleased to meet you. Come right on in. But what you didn't tell was that you already knew me fairly well. Just days before, you've been taken to view a billboard featuring a certain young, naked broad. Now, just as an aside, I'm not a tart. Well, I wasn't then. It was all done in the name of art. My identity in flesh now exposed, no secrecy, revealed for all the world to see. And you. And you thinking, oh, isn't she sweet? I hope one day we get to meet. Well, blow me over with a feather. It's been 20 years and we're still together. We've grown a home, a life, a family, grown with passion, much wine, and your infinite generosity. A life filled with love and food and company. A world of friendships, music and discovery. Living with you, Nick, means that the music is always too loud. The house is always too messy. But know this. You are my compass. You are my anchor. You're the rhythm my feet move to. You're the kid who pushes me higher and higher on the swing. I love you. Happy birthday. And now to Karen and Pete.
Anyway, I met Nick in I think 1992 or 1991. Yeah, when I first came back from living in England, and we became very good friends then. And then 9 years later, I met Peter, and they became friends. So this is our song for Nick.
Well, not yet. We're just getting warmed.
So anyway, it's been a long time.
We were rehearsing the words on the way down in the car with our 2 kids in the back who we've dispatched with, but they've kind of flown out the window a little bit. We're really kind of writing this. We were writing this today. Where are the children buried? What do you reckon, up high or down low?
Oh, okay.
You're going on the pedestal. She's going on the pedestal.
Everyone should see my flared jumpsuit. Yeah.
That flared jumpsuit. From walking up. Man, that's just crazy. Does it? Is that right? Yeah. He's mine. I found him.
But I found him first.
That depends on what you mean when you say first. He was my best man.
He was my bridesmaid.
He was. He made beautiful, beautiful music at my wedding.
That was my wedding.
I think it was our wedding, wasn't it?
I guess so.
Oh, we rehearsed about doing this as a gesture sometime in the song, so let's do it. No, the wedding one, sweetheart. The wedding one, sweetheart.
Sorry, I forgot which conversation we were on.
Anyway, darling, and I text you in the middle of the night.
And I text him in the middle of the day.
I tell him everything that I do wrong.
And I tell him everything that you do wrong too. I eat with him.
I smoke with him.
Drink with him.
These days we mostly just vaporize. And I bet you didn't know he was a teacher.
I'll bet you didn't know he was a journalist.
He developed software.
And a sports betting agency online.
I thought he was a project manager.
No, now he teaches people how to love each other at work. And how not to sound bossy when they're being the boss. Hang on, that's it.
What's that?
Yeah, he's okay.
He's what?
Agile.
Agile.
This is seamless.
Yeah.
Much better
Thank
before
God.
Pete had a joint.
Well, it was tighter, it's true. He is agile.
Emotionally. He's a lecturer, a mentor, a musician.
And in India these days he's known as some kind of Swami.
A Swami.
Yes, a Swami.
What's a Swami?
That's someone who knows more about snake spit than even the snakes do.
And this impresses Indian people?
It seems to.
I suppose.
Don't be silly. No one can be all those things.
Let's not fight.
There's plenty of Nick to go round, and he doesn't want us to fight over him anyway.
I don't know, I think he quite likes it when we fight over him.
Just tonight, but anyway. So he's actually ours, all of ours.
He's V's, and he's Sally's, and he's Josh's, and he's Zach's, and he's John's, and he's Teresa's, and apparently he could have very easily been Paul's. If only things had turned out differently. I wish it. No.
I'm just going to say, you know, I like your luck, Paul, but it's never been the way it has with all these other people.
Anyway,
Happy birthday to you, Nicholas James Thorpe. 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 He's actually mine.
So I actually met Nick when he was a project manager.
I was.
And I was a project coordinator. Thank you. And so I've coordinated tonight, Nick, a collection of words for you. I really don't like speaking in front of groups of people, so true to my nature, I've collected other people's words, and some of mine, I have to say. So I'm just going to read out a group of words here that some of you might find familiar, or words that you might use to describe Nick. I've also got a list of these words here, and so if anyone can think of words that are not on this list, and actually I've heard a lot of them already tonight, feel free to add them. I have a Sharpie. So I don't have cards though, Fee. Smiley, wise, gentle, patient, inspiring, supportive, inquisitive, intelligent, emotional, confidant, generous, caring, intelligent, crazy, individual, warm and sincere, old, friendly. That wasn't from me, by the way. That was from Lou. Friendly, helpful, encouraging, knowledgeable, enthusiastic, unique, inspiring, again wise, thoughtful, compassionate, again intelligent, funny, twice, talented, very fine, genuine, thoughtful, and again old. Honest, splendiferous, a fine individual, more fine, kind, insightful, generous, and hilarious. And as I said, if anyone can think of any other words, feel free to add them. Domestic goddess? No. I can't countenance that one, Nicholas. Because Fee would kill me. And I actually have a word here that came from Nick, which was badass.
Cuddly. Someone said that.
Cuddly. Right, cuddly.
Cuddly.
I'm a coordinator. So, and I thought of all these words, I reflected on all these words, and I thought, how on earth did I get lucky enough for Nick to be my friend? And I thought about that a little bit more. How did we meet? What were we doing? And I thought back, and it was, how old is Audrey? 7. So it was 7 years ago. It was right before Audrey was born, and kind of while Audrey was born, in fact. And really, I think we bonded over planning. Well, over that period. Yeah. I didn't meet you till after. We were bonding over a thing that I was helping Nick coordinate, because Nick's not great at coordinating. He's great at the ideas, but he needs help with the coordinating, and I think that's why we bonded. But it wasn't really through any effort of Nick's. Well, maybe it was, because the thing that I really remember about the first time we met was we went out in Nick's car, which is the car I think you have now, and Audrey had just been born. Ethan and Lucinda were 3 and 4, roughly, something like that. And for those that don't know me, I'm kind of a neat freak, and I don't really like grot or mess. And I got into Nick's car, and we drove around looking for this place, this party. But Nick's car was covered in baby and children stuff, and biscuits and apple and God knows what. And that was okay. I could deal with that. And it smelled of vomit. And so I just kind of got thinking today, how is it that I'm friends with Nick when that was my introduction to Nick, was baby stuff and vomit? And anyway, in spite of all that, we managed to remain friends, and how lucky am I? Thank you, Nicholas. Happy birthday. And I believe I'm handing over to the wonderful Paige.
You don't need to stand. You're fine. Okay. No, I'm going to just stay. Just for those of you who don't know Paige, Paige is Nick's gorgeous daughter who's come over from Adelaide to celebrate.
He actually did just steal the beginning of my speech, because that was what I was about to say.
Gorgeous daughter.
But yeah, especially the gorgeous part, I was about to say that. So I'm going to say it again, because I do want to mention all of my cue cards, because I spent a long time writing them, so you'll just so, hi everyone, for those of you who don't know me. I'm Paige, Nick's eldest daughter, and I'm representing the offspring contingent tonight. So, myself... Yeah, fruit of that guy's loins. So, I'm so that's me, myself, Ethan, Lucinda and Audrey. And you'll have to forgive me, because most of the speeches that I've made recently have been 21st speeches, which tend to be sort of stories of drunkenness and nudity. And I'm really glad to say that I don't have any of those about my dad. So I'll have to leave that to presumably everyone else here tonight, and I'll try to switch gears.
We'll be here all night.
Yeah. So, most people, when they hear about my dad, the bearded double bassist living on Brunswick Street in Melbourne, playing in bands, living in India, hanging with Bert Newton on GMA, they sort of tend to tell me how lucky I am to have such a cool dad. And while I can totally see how you would get that impression, he's actually a lot more embarrassing than he seems. Particularly when, while hanging on GMA with Bert Newton, Dad and the Prayer Babies performed a charming rendition for Australia of When I Think About You, I Touch Myself. And let me tell you that for me, that was not a good morning, Australia. And in fact, my clearest early memory of Dad is of him waddling through a shopping centre car park like a chicken at the climax of one of our Who Can Embarrass Each Other the Most games. Although, actually, for those of you sort of keeping score at home, I did win that one by screaming, "Help, this man isn't my father." addition to sort of swaying haphazardly between being the coolest dad in Brunswick and being the chicken man in the parking lot, Dad is also a memorable parent for other reasons, such as being rather accident prone with his children. So I've actually had a little help with this section. I was planning to get all the siblings to kind of contribute a story of certain death at the hands of my father. But unfortunately, when I got here, only Audrey was here. So you're going to have to, it's a two-man job instead of a four-man job. You'll have to work with me. So my story begins on an outing with Dad to a friend's two-story art studio, where Dad decided that drinks sitting on top of the slanted roof of the building with his 4-year-old in tow was a great idea.
It wasn't Toy Stories, it was 4.
So I have a very vivid memory of sort of climbing up this ladder and Dad being like, yeah, go on up, you'll be fine. And unsurprisingly, that story ends with my legs dangling off the side, with Dad sort of grabbing my hand just in time with typical Thorpe reflexes. And I actually did an artist's reconstruction, which is here. So for those of you who can't see, we have the spikes at the bottom, we have a certain depth, we have a very high building, and we have little 4-year-old Paige with their pigtails hanging off the side. So that's how that one went. Now Audrey's story, she also thinks that Dad is a fab parent like 90% of the time, but she does remember one special holiday where she was abandoned to become a street urchin on the mean streets of Sydney after sitting down to play a video game in a museum and then eventually realising that her family were 4 blocks away. And Audrey also provided an artist's reconstruction of her upon finding out that her family had left. So this is little crying Audrey. Should we pass it? I promise it gets nicer now. So, but in all seriousness, Ethan, Lucinda and Audrey and I do have the best dad in the world, or at least number 2 under Billy Ray Cyrus, because, you know. So I also asked Audrey to tell me why she's really happy that this guy is our dad. And Audrey said that it's because he's nice, caring, and because he loves her. Aww. And for me, there are so many things that I love about my dad, but I think the best thing is the gift that he has for making people feel special and to feel like they matter. So even though Dad and I have always lived a state apart, he's always had a way of showing me that he's proud of me, whether it's a beautiful original song I mentioned in the liner notes of a Prayer Babies CD or anything like that. A mushy phone call that makes everyone involved feel really uncomfortable. I know that he's always there for me, and that's the real reason why when people tell me that I have a cool dad, I agree. I'm happy to introduce Amelia and Tali.
So before we begin whatever it is that we're beginning, Nick, I think we're going to need a little bit of a furniture rearrange. So I need you in my eyesight.
Yeah, we need a man centre stage. Yes, please.
Sit on this. Yes,
sit on this chair and then we can see.
Sure. Just there. By Karen, who coincidentally, fabulous song. Very, it was beautiful. You should give up physiotherapy immediately.
Yes.
We are not poets, however, and so we have had to steal the words of someone else. I guess. Sorry. When we're thinking about the right thing, the right kind of gift, or the right way to say we love you, we thank you, we whatever.
Happy birthday.
Means happy birthday. Yeah. The Beatles wouldn't give us the rights.
No.
So,
we did ask. We did go to that extent, but sadly,
no. So we cast our mind back. We started thinking about songs that meant stuff to us, and there was one that was really, kind of resounded with me. It's been with me through kind of all my life. It's an old song. It's kind of, seems to sum things up for me. But we decided to put that aside because it kind of, for some reasons, didn't quite seem right.
Do you mean the Wind Beneath My Wings song? Or?
No, then we went to the Wind Beneath
yeah.
My Wings.
I suggested the Wind Beneath My Wings.
Yeah, but we
it's not
thought you
time.
should. No,
We'll wait a few decades.
I thought maybe you needed to be dead for that, so we can. Like,
It's in the bank. It's in the bank.
Yeah, funeral. You know, it's for consideration. I mean, I was kind of thinking que sera, something kind of, you know, that looks back at life, looks forward at life, you know. But it seemed a bit fatalistic. Whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
So
we kept searching.
Yeah,
we kept digging.
We did, and then we came all the way back round again to that one song that, you know, just nestled its way into my heart. So, for what it's worth.
So, love song dedication.
Hey lady, sweet lady, looking at your life. You're a discontented mother. You're a regimented wife. You'll have to use your imagination a little bit. I've no doubt you dream about all the things you want to do. But I wish someone would have talked to me like I want to talk to you. Oh, I've been to Georgia and California and anywhere I could run. I took the hand of a preacher man and we made love in the sun. Then I ran out of places and friendly places because I had to be free. Oh lady, I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. Please lady, don't just walk away, 'cause I've got something to tell you. I'm all alone today. Why is she all alone today? Can't you see so much of me just living in your eyes? Won't you share a part of this weary heart that I've lived a million lives? Oh, I've been to Nice and the Isle of Greece, and I've sipped champagne on a yacht. Through Harlow and Monte Carlo, and showed what I got. More men undressed by kings, and I've seen some things that I wasn't supposed to see. Lady, I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. You know what paradise is? What? It's a lie. It's a fantasy we create about people and places as we'd like them to be. But you know what truth is? What? Truth is this group of people, right? It's that man you fought with this morning who might be pop-headed, and the man that you probably sleep with, sweet love with tonight. That's what might be him. That's love. Yes! Oh, shit! Yeah. La 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 la. Bitters from the sweet. I'm still exploring this subtle whoring. Like la-la-la-la-la, baby. I've been to paradise. I've been to paradise, but I've never been to me. For you. To paradise. Happy birthday. Happy birthday.
Oh, Nicola. So was that actually supposed to be Nicola?
Yeah. Yes.
Interchangeable. What a name. Your parents really were quite game. Nicholas, as you know, it rhymes with us. But also class and glass and fast. So in the spirit of Dr. Seuss and poodles eating noodles, when a Nicholas travels fast in a car with a glass upon the seat, embedded tight, watch out, Paul, within his cheeks. A broken glass under your ass. Yes. And not a scratch, not anywhere. Upholstery shredded, but not your derriere. Then truly we can say, this man has class. You folks did well to name you Nickel Ass. And then there's Nick. I'm not going there. I'm going to hand you over to the penultimate speech of the evening. Those of you up the back will probably be relieved. To Kim, Nick's brother, who's come over from Adelaide. So.
Thanks, Fee. I'm not going to say much tonight. Lots been said about you, Nick. Yes, Nick's older brother. You know, older brothers always know more than younger brothers. But I think there's three areas in which you know, I have immense respect for my younger brother, and I'm sure that you do too. And that's head, heart, and hands. In terms of head, I think, Nick, intellectually, you push your own boundaries and you push the boundaries of all of us around you in the way that you think, the way that you explore ideas, and the way that you push us all. It's immensely respectful what you do for all of us in terms of pushing out the way we think, and you continue to do that. You've done that all the time, so thank you for that. Your heart, you have an immense heart, an immense love for people that you know well and for people you don't know well, and that's once again a fantastic trait that I hold in great esteem, and I'm sure your friends do too. And then there's your hands. I think they must have been stitched onto you when you're at birth, because you know, when you left and went as a kid and you had your first base, and then when you went to Indiana and learnt to play jazz over there, and you came back, it was like someone had stitched on a new set of hands to you, and you came back and played some wonderful music and continue to do that and inspire all of us with your musicality, your ability to interpret music, work with other people, and create something fantastic. And it's such a joy to be able to experience that tonight. That and other things, we love you. Like, I love you as a brother. We love you as part of the family, and we all love you as friends. So here's to Nick.
What else do you want? Where's Millie? Millie. Right, so see this person here. So Millie brought Fiona and I together, and that's a true story that Fiona told in rhyme about her being naked on a billboard. Paramarketing is real. But then, yeah, that was Millie, and also the story about the sitting on a broken glass at Ravenswood. Was it your wedding? Yeah.
The drink run.
So I'm going to be pretty quick and brief. There was a whole period in the late 90s, Paul, you would remember this, where basically I would stand up to speak at birthdays and just start weeping. Like time and time again, I'd stand up and I'd just go, oh. And I just was how grateful I was to count the people in front of me as my friends, and that we were all still alive, and that our sense of wonder was intact, because there was some touch and go at that point in time. And so I need some audience participation here. If I start crying, I need you to yell out, "Man up!" Man up, dude. Keep going. Because, yeah, it could happen. Man up! Man up! Man up! So I'm now. Man up! Say that randomly. Man up! Yeah. It feels good just to say that.
Bob Hawke! Do the full Bob Hawke!
The full Bob Hawke! Yes. Drink a yard. That was a real problem. Yeah. So I'm actually going to, many have fallen at this step, but I'm going to try and thank people who've really helped to prepare what you're here with tonight. And I know I'll probably forget people, and so people shy away from this, but I'm going to try to do it and name them. So Paul Pettit had a heap to do with the preparation, and Sal, wherever you are, had lots to do with the preparation and thinking up and the theme and bringing food. And Ian was extremely helpful in setting up the sound system, and Dave Hodges, Trays, brought food. John Carney is here videoing and taking photos and stuff. Dagger, Marty, Jim and Ben, thank you so much for all of the work you put in this afternoon and getting all of this ready. And Paige, wherever you are, thank you so much for your work, darling. God, I'm proud of you tonight. Far out. I'm going to spend quite a bit of time thanking Fiona, obviously, but Fiona is a person who, you know, makes it look easy, but it never is. And you should never just, when you see her just floating around and just in constant motion with a smile on her face, don't think that it's easy. She's just making it look that way. Because she's amazing. Thanks. Yes, and please kick me in the ass if I ever don't appreciate this woman enough. She is amazing.
I will.
Yeah, it's best if we do it. It's best if we do it. So thanks to all the people who came from interstate. Zach and Amelia have just arrived off the road from Adelaide, and Amelia's up singing. Kim and Lena, thank you so much for coming over. Bob, where are you? My old friend Bob is here from Adelaide. Paige is here, Ben and Dagger. Thanks to all the speakers. I'm standing here trying to accept all of those sort of kind and loving things that you've said about me, and it's really hard to accept that all of that. Can I move on? But the truth is, basically when we asked people to this party, we just sort of thought of who is everybody that matters to us, who is absolutely everyone, and everyone said yes, pretty much. Like, so this is your it. You are the people who really, really matter to me, and it's packed out to the freaking street as far as I can figure out there, but almost nobody said no, I can't come, or I'm too far away, or it's too hard, or anything like that. And that's just a measure of how awesome you people are. And if I'm headed over the hill, then I think we must be right at the top now. And as I look out at this moment from the top of the hill, all I just see is just all this beautiful family and friends in front of me. I can just see 50 years of love and support from my close family and my extended family and the family that I call my friends. And I'm so grateful for it. I feel really lucky to have friends like you and have family that just automatically support whatever you do. No matter what you screw up, your family will just support you. I'm lucky to have that. My beautiful daughter Paige is here. She's come all the way from Adelaide. Isn't she amazing? She's 21. I can't believe it. Like, she's just...
say how amazing I was in the speech. So that's most of what
Yeah. Yeah, old. Finally, I just have to give thanks to whatever goddess was smiling on me when I finally joined up with Fiona. She still stops my heart. That was Millie. Because Millie is the person who got us together, and she deserves eternal respect for it.
I have to say, Nick, it was a bit of planning on Fiona's part.
Yeah, there was some, I'm sure there was some conniving. I heard she got kicked out by a bunch of... Fiona, she just still stops my heart with her beauty, and she's always there to remind me of what's important in life, and I love you so much, darling, you know that. And thanks for all of you for being the best bunch anyone could hope for. Have fun, drink up, and be disgraceful.
This is much better. I think I can be about the same height. Okay. Now, there's got to be a few elements of surprise in any birthday.
That was quite enough.
Okay.
I didn't know about any of that.
That's good. Here comes... No, I'm not pregnant. Yeah, this is Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Nick. Happy birthday to you.